Welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. Today I've got the Franchise Matchmaker, Seth Lederman. Seth has had tremendous success in business earlier in his life with several different businesses that he had. One was a chiropractic. He took that chiropractic business up tenfold in 3 years. I was blown away when I heard his story and wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to hear not only about that, but how he moved from that into franchise consultant, franchise recruiter. But as a matchmaker, how did he get that name? And it comes from who he has worked with and how many times they consistently say, he really got us to the exact right match in the franchise that was best for them. And I thought, this will be a great show. Welcome. Thank you,
for having me, Pat.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about how you move from being the business owner to the business person that helps so many others get into business, owning franchises that are tailored for their specific desires, needs, and gifting.
It goes back to my original career path that you mentioned. I became a chiropractor. That was a occupation of passion for me. Very into fitness and sports, and that was a natural path for me, but it didn't take more than 3 years before I realized that my true passion was business.
Huh.
And I was going room to room treating patients, and I lost present time consciousness. I was in the room, but my head was at the front desk or in the billing department, and realized that where I really wanted my time was working on the business, not in it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a term that I picked up from reading a book early in my career, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, underground best-selling business book. Many people know Michael became my mentor. Michael's book really resonated with me,
mm-hmm.
And actually was pivotal for me in going from being a practitioner to being a enterprise developer. Read that book, and really Michael's book talked about what was really franchise principles.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't looking at it that way. I knew that creating a consistent, predictable, and reproducible result for my patients and for my staff was important, mm-hmm. and for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really was learning was everything that makes franchises successful. So within 36 months, I pulled myself out of working in the business. I was working on it and developed something I never would have created had I not stepped back and treated the business as the product rather than the service that I was delivering as the product. And that's what franchising really was. And what naturally happened was colleagues, vendors would reach out to me to find out how I achieved this success, and I would share with them the principles I learned in this book, kind of selfishly, because they were somehow impacting my business's ability to get to the next level, and realized that I really enjoyed helping business owners, and wound up being a business coach.
Mm-hmm.
Went out to California, met with Michael Gerber, the author of the book. He offered me the opportunity to be an independent contractor and work with other business owners in teaching them these principles to make their business not dependent upon them, to create the franchise model of their business, whether they wanted to franchise it or not, to make sure that they had a business that was buttoned up, had processes and systems and procedures in place to make sure that they and their consumer had a good experience.
Absolutely.
And when I freed myself from my business, I was looking for my next opportunity. It was natural for me to look at franchises. And what I realized, another pivotal moment for me, was I'd be the worst franchise owner, because I would want to change the formula for Kentucky Fried Chicken only because I'd want to, not because it needed to. And realized that where my best skill sets was helping other people explore and navigate that. But that happened as a result of me looking at franchises and coming across people that were doing what I'm now doing. And I saw a very fragmented industry. I saw an industry that didn't really have a lot of thought leaders, no authorities in the industry. And that's what I knew that I always wanted to do in my next chapter, as I did in my last. I just find it really important to differentiate yourself from other people doing what you're doing. And getting into this industry was an opportunity for me to do that, and have really enjoyed taking people who have never considered franchise ownership, or maybe they have, and help them find what is the best franchise for them. Not just a great franchise, but a great franchise for them.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole matchmaker thing. And you've written a book on profits are better than
Wages. How to achieve the life of your dreams by being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So that's a cliche everyone's heard, but in franchise ownership, that's really what you have. You have all of the support, all of the processes and systems in place, but you're not alone. You have corporate and all the other franchisees to support you.
Now, you do represent, is that what the right term, represent the over...
We represent the industry.
Right.
My organization works with all the franchises, but we represent several hundred of them that we've vetted and determined to be the types of opportunities the people that I work with would best like to be aligned with. There's 3,600 operating franchises in the US, and there's too much information on the internet. A lot of it's inaccurate, a lot of it's promotional, and it's easy for people to look for franchises and get overwhelmed and into paralysis by analysis because there's just too much out there, and they didn't even realize that there's professional guidance, expertise that can take them through making that very, very important decision.
That's excellent. One of the things that I'm so excited about in this next segment to go into is really looking at, there are only about 2% of the businesses out there that are in the franchise industry. However, over $800 billion a year is produced in that industry. Folks, this is the next growth industry that you really want to look at. This is a Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. We'll see you on the next spot.